Now, I've been hearing this online trend about real estate in Lagos, especially being overpriced. And I just laugh when I hear things like this because some of these things are actually born out of lack of knowledge about how real estate actually works in Lagos, Nigeria. Now, let me throw some insights regarding this very interesting topic. You see, as a Lagos developer, there are so many costs that you have to bear that counterparts in other countries, especially the developed world, don't have to bear. For instance, we look at development costs, the cost of infrastructure. As a developer, you are literally providing infrastructure for yourself. You have to provide the borehole, you have to provide electricity. In fact, in one of the projects that I just completed, we literally had to provide everything. We had done the wiring, the internal wirings, we had done the connections to the national grid, only for us to realize that there was really no transformer in the area where we developed that project. So we had to do our own, we have to acquire a transformer. Now, counterparts abroad don't have to incur this cost. That's just one of it. The other part of it has to do with regulatory issues. Now, the cost of obtaining an approval for a building is extremely high. A lot of other countries have better processes, they have cheaper regulatory costs and things like that, so they don't have to bear those costs. Now let's look at the issue of demand and supply. The reality is that the demand for real estate in Lagos far outweighs other parts of the country and other parts of the world. So the reason why properties may be expensive in Nigeria, or in Lagos to be precise, is because there is so much demand. There is a growing urbanization. People are moving from other regions, other parts of the country, and even other parts of the world to Lagos. So there's a growing demand, and it's simple economics. The higher the demand, the higher the price. Another factor worth noting is that in Nigeria, access to affordable mortgage is restricted. Now, I'm not saying affordable mortgage doesn't exist. What I'm saying is that not everybody has access to affordable mortgage. Mortgage banks in Nigeria charge on the average about 30 to 35% interest rates for mortgages. Now, the fact that most people cannot afford these mortgages is also a factor that drives the prices of real estate. If we had access to more mortgages, there will be more houses being developed and gradually prices will come down. Now, not all international markets are actually cheap. In major hubs of the world, for instance, like London, which is a major hub in Europe, houses are actually quite expensive. In New York, for instance, which is also another major area in the US, houses are not, especially in places like Manhattan, houses are not cheap. In Dubai, for instance, houses are quite expensive. Why? Because demand keeps growing in these areas. It's simple. However, Lagos still offers extremely high ROIs, not just in terms of rental yield, but also in terms of capital appreciation. In Lagos, properties can appreciate by as much as 30, 40, 50, even 60% per annum. Rental yields on short-term apartments could vary from 40 to even 50% in some cases, depending on the location of your property. Another major challenge we face in Lagos, in Nigeria as a whole, is inflation. Now, inflation in Nigeria is far higher than what you have in the developed world. Currently, inflation rate is ranging between 20 to 25%, and actually, a lot of analysts believe that the actual inflation is more than that, whereas inflation rates in countries like the US and the UK are single digits. So you cannot compare what developers have to deal with in Lagos, Nigeria to what their counterparts have to cope with in the developed world. That's another very important factor. So ladies and gentlemen, rather than saying Lagos properties are overpriced, I think a more accurate way of describing it is by saying Lagos real estate reflects the cost of private sector driven urban development. The challenge, I believe, is to create an atmosphere where developers can build at lower costs and also build more houses so that more people can then afford these properties and gradually the prices will come down or at least normalize. I hope you got value from this video. If you did, please like, share and follow, and I'll see you in the next video.